Negre Mawon. What does that mean? On Negre Mawon. Now, I know a lot of you maybe grew up in the West Indies, especially the ones that are in the French islands, and would hear the term Negre Mawon. What does it really translate to? Second of all, not only what does it translate to, but who it was it referring to in the West Indies? Who is this mythical Negre Mawon? First of all, let's try and break down the etymology of the word. Okay? Neg. Neg derives from a French or a dialect Creole word, means Negroid. Okay? 2. Mawon. Mawon comes from the word, a breakdown from the Maroons. In English, in French, it is considered or as Mawon, which it means wild, untamed. So the word, once you put both two words together, Negre Mawon really means black, wild, untamed person. Okay? The Negre Mawon was the indigenous black or colored, copper-colored individuals they found in the West Indies, and you could have found these people all over. Negre Mawon. Some of these people was already had admixture or had a federation with the so-called original Amerindians, some of the Tainos, and also the Arawaks and the Caribs. I'm talking about mainland Caribs. So you have island Caribs or island Tainos, and you have mainland, where am I going? Tainos. So when you get back to the subject, which the word that we're defining that we have maybe heard before used as on Negre Mawon, to understand the relation of what it means. Also, all Negre Mawon also was some of the freedom fighters in some of these countries. There was a mixed actual population when you refer to a Negre Mawon. It was already freed and it wasn't captured, so it wasn't freed. But these individuals lived on these islands for hundreds of years, from the time that we are broke off from being Pangaea and these small islands form. These Negro admixture Amerindian type people that had combined themselves together, creating a federation, especially back in the early 14th, 1300s, because of the invasion that was happening from Europe as the colonizers that was coming. It seems more possible of an economic system and defense system that these two groups of Amerindians and also Maroons, they call them, or Negre Mawon, had to interact with each other and combine forces together to try and eliminate the colonization of their kingdom, because we were talking about the West Indies where these people are, and in the Caribbean. So they had to defend that, especially the Leeward Islands and also the Great Antilles, the Lesser Antilles and the Great Antilles. So I'll come back to this word again of Negre Mawon. When we're talking about the Negre Mawon, means again black, wild, untamed. The same word they use as a savage, because that's what it means. The whole translation will come back to that. Now you said, who are the savages? The savages was considered the indigenous people of the Caribbean. Indians are considered savages. So the Negre Mawon was still a form, even though the hue of his skin, because you have to understand why the Europeans used the words that they used. They had already encountered civilized blacks that helped civilize Europe, which was the Moors, who had conquered and was there for over 900 years in Europe, from France to Italy to Spain to England. There was all over, bringing knowledge and helping to develop Europe at that time. So the whites or Caucasian, because remember, these people got expelled out of Europe also after the heavy influence that they had. They was expelled and they was pushed out. But the Europeans had met civilized black. And when we're talking about civilized, was more to their conformity or more to their culture, European culture, because there was European blacks. Especially when you talk about free blacks or the Black Dutch or any one of those groups, you're talking about those type of people. So when you had Negre Mawon, that means the uncivilized Negro tribe that they meet, which was your Black Caribs, your Kalingos, your Gufunu. If you go to St. Vincent, it's called the Gufunu. If you go to Dominique and St. Lucia, c'est Negre Mawon, or you get Black Caribs. If you go to Santo Domingo, Dominica, Puerto Rico, Cuba, all of them have a similar tribe and a coordination. Even Honduras, Costa Rica, Panama, all of them have the Gufunus, the Black Caribs, the Negre Mawon. That's what it means. So a lot of Jamaicans who are black are pissed off of the Maroons, who had a treaty, because the Maroons was the indigenous people. They were a mixed race. Remember, Mawon and Maroons is only the change from Spanish into French. So it's the same exact people. So a lot of Jamaicans are upset because the King of England did give a treaty to the Maroons on Jamaica to have their own land and they do their own thing, leave them alone. And the treaty, if there was any African runaway slaves, to bring them in, turn them in, and they would be compensated and paid. And they were part of the kingdom regiment to protect the island from any invaders within or abroad. So you could see how they had treated the Maroons, giving them treaties, and they were signing treaties with the Black Caribs and the Maroons and the Negre Mawons. But they wasn't signing a treaty with your enslaved Africans. So it's a two different type. Not saying that most of the high melanated you people from the West Indies doesn't have an African ancestor. What I'm saying is the people from the West Indies that was there thousands of years ago were not like the one that was captured off of the shores of Africa and brought there, because they had already evolved into something else. Just like you have people in Papua New Guinea. They have been there for millions of years. No slave ship brought them there. They're indigenous. Australia, you'll find another set. Indonesia, you'll find another set. All throughout the world, you will find dark-hued indigenous people. Dark you indigenous people. So still as it is in the West Indies, but the dark hue, some of the dark hue indigenous people, the particular group we're talking about, is the Negre Mawon, black, wild, untamed men.